for part 2. My 12 first volumes of Christmas challenge, or 12 manga of Christmas challenge, or, you know, really read whatever you want. Hopefully you've been enjoying all of your reads if you are doing this challenge along with me, and please let me know what those reads are down below. And if you're not, that's okay. Just you know, grab a warm beverage, get cozy for some first volume reviews with me. So of course, just like with last time, I'm going to be starting with the honorable mentions, the ones that didn't fit into my prompts, but I'm reading them and I'm posting little reviews over on TikTok. Again, shout out if you want to follow me on TikTok. I do not post that often, mostly just during December, honestly. But I do some travel things and other random hauls of like Ami hauls or something occasionally. So yeah, feel free. But without further ado, the first extra read I actually just posted on Instagram as well. So, you know, go check out my Insta if you want. But that is Snow and Ink. So I just got this in my November haul, and I mentioned how I was drawn in by the art, and I still stand by that. I just really enjoyed the art in this one. However, as somebody commented that they felt it was badly paced and kind of like all over the place, I agree. I do agree. This first volume is not that strong. It's probably one of the weaker first volumes that I've read so far. I've also just been lucky in hitting a lot of great first volumes, like, that I thoroughly enjoyed. However, that being the case, though, I can recognize that this felt jarring, and even the quote-unquote romance aspect of this rich girl who has lost everything and pretty much been shunned from her family, and everyone hates her because she messed up some big deals and lost money for the area and lost people's jobs and stuff. That she has basically been disowned, and she ends up buying this convicted murderer, mass murderer, really. However, his crimes aren't really what they seem to be, but he still is tattooed permanently as a convicted murderer. So it makes it really hard for him to get jobs and stuff. And they end up living together on the outskirts of town. So their quote unquote like romance, or them growing closer together, I guess would be the best way to put it, is done very jankily. It's not smooth. It's not smooth whatsoever. And it just, the pacing is weird, but I just really did enjoy them for some reason. I don't know what it is per se, but I was just like, these guys are so cute, and I just want her to help heal him, and him to continue to thaw her frozen heart. And just like, they really seem to give each other what they need. And I love a romance like that, where the, like, you know, puzzle pieces just fit into place. It's cute. Is it a good first volume? No, not necessarily. It's kind of all over the place, but I'm still probably going to check out the rest of the series and see how it goes from there, because of our main two characters, and seeing how their relationship of sorts, their unconventional relationship, blossoms from here. Next up is one I also feel had slight issues with pacing, not as egregious by any means, and more so that they just kept teasing me with mysteries but not giving me enough, and that always irritates me. So hard to say which it was, but I thoroughly enjoyed this one, and it's Agents of the Four Seasons, Dance of Spring. So somebody also commented about this one that they hoped the prose was as lyrical and like poetic as the light novel, and honestly I don't feel that it was that poetic or lyrical. Obviously, I haven't read the light novel, but just in case you're curious. However, the art is so pretty. Like, I could just stare at this cutie patootie, especially, but also like the cherry blossom scenes and like everything, like all the art was really nice. So I was sucked in because of the visual lyricism, visual eye candy, if you will. So in this world, there is a responsibility that the humans have taken up to basically transition the 4 seasons. So there's a girl, this girl on the cover, who is the human tasked with bringing spring. However, for the last 10 years, she mysteriously vanished and the world had no spring. So now she has returned, and again, we don't really know what happened. We just get these very little hints, and honestly, it was not satisfying enough for me, and there is no pre-order for volume 2 yet. So I did a thing I never thought that I would do, and I went and ordered the light novels. I usually am not like that. I don't know what's happening to me, but I think it was partially because of the commenter describing it as lyrical and poetic, because that sounds really fitting for this type of story, and it made me kind of curious. And also because I feel like volume 1 and volume 2 are kind of like a first arc, the light novel anyway, a first arc of this story following spring and winter and their relationship and what happened 10 years ago that I just need to know. And since I don't feel like waiting, I hope that the light novel will provide me with some answers and details and flesh things out. I'll definitely be reading more of the manga as well. I just I need answers now. So that's all of the honorable mentions, and that leads us right into the prompts that I can check off my challenge. As with the last video, part 1, if you haven't watched that and you want more first volume recommendations or to see what else I've read in my challenge, then please go watch that. But as with that one, I will be going from weakest to strongest. Again, pretty strong contenders. I enjoyed thoroughly all of these reads. However, I mean, there's always one I can point to as being at the bottom, I suppose. But I still will be continuing all of these. I really enjoyed them all. Right now we are going 8 for 8 with this challenge. All the first volumes I picked for it, I plan to continue, and I really enjoyed. Honestly, even the honorable mentions, I've all really enjoyed them. But yeah, anyway, we're starting from our challenge prompt, romance. And I had picked, I want to end this love game. So honestly, I was apprehensive to pick this one up, and so that's why I was glad that it was in the half off sale section used at my manga store, so I could take a chance on it, because I know I might get some hate for this. I was not the biggest fan of Kaguya-sama Love is War, and obviously the concepts are fairly similar. I don't know what it was. The characters in Kaguya-sama just felt so much more abrasive and annoying to me. Whereas this one may not have been, you know, my favorite read of this selection of prompts. I really enjoyed them. They were cute, charming, adorable, dorky characters who started this love game when they were young, and that they would just keep confessing I love you to each other and doing like little things to try and get the other to admit that it made their heart race and basically admit they have feelings. As we come to find out, obviously, I mean, it really wasn't shocking. I don't think it should be shocking to anybody. They both secretly have feelings for each other. However, neither one of them wants to be the one to admit it, and so they both want the other to lose the love game and admit their feelings, and they have like an inkling or a hope, I guess, that they have feelings for, you know, that the other has feelings for them, with both of them. However, they're too afraid to really confirm that, and so that's why. And I guess I really do understand. It's not a matter of pride. It's a matter of, these are childhood friends who have a long history, and if you're not 100% sure that they like you the same way, you are sacrificing a whole friendship and a whole history. And that to me has some weight to it. And I guess I can understand the love game aspect to this one a lot more. And yeah, it's cute. Like, they were really cute together. I mean, they go on this really awkward date where he took like all his notes from shoujo manga, and then she finds all the sticky notes in the shoujo manga, and she's just like, oh, that's why he's being so weird. But it's so adorable. And I agree. Like, all the little tropes and the ways they act and stuff, it's not really appealing in real life. In fiction, it makes your heart go pitter patter, but at least mine. But it was just a really cute, like, pointing out of how ridiculous like romance tropes are and stuff in a very cute romancy manga. The next first volume on my list is A Man and His Cat. Oh my god, this one was so cute, and I picked it for my cozy read prompt, and it was the coziest. It was like a big hug, and it made me feel all the feels. Like, I even teared up. I honestly think it's because it has like some emotional weight behind both of the cat and the man that we're following, and also because it made me really like want to like give my cats a hug, and it just like and I don't know, it just, yeah. I mean, obviously prefacing this with, I am a huge cat lover. I have 2 cats. Like, however, I tend to pick up manga with cats in it from time to time, and to kind of feel like, it was whatever, you know? Like, it was a whatever story. Like, the cat was cute, but I didn't really connect to anything. This one, I can safely say, I connected. I teared up. I smiled with the cute, adorable cat moments. Like, I just yeah. So the premise of this one is this older man, who we do find out is a widower, had plans to get a cat with his wife, but now that she's passed, he decides to go and get a cat on his own. He ends up picking this cat, who had been there for a lot longer than some of the other cats. His price had been reduced in the shelter, and still no one was buying him, and this man just fell in love with him. And it was really sweet, because obviously you want the cat and the man to help heal each other, and that's the vibe of this first volume. I am a little nervous going forward because there are already so many volumes out that the premise and, you know, this heart to this first volume will become a little stale and repetitive. I don't know how much they can keep infusing adorable cat moments and genuine heart into this series. However, I'm willing to keep going with it and to see how it plays out, because when a manga moves me to tears, I know it's a good manga, okay? And this cat, like, is not my typical breed of cat, or like design of a cat, I guess, since it's just a drawing of a cat, but it's based on a breed of a cat. It's not my favorite, but gosh darn was he adorable throughout it. Again, it's very simple, but it was effective, and it was sweet and cozy as anything. It's so cute. That's all I have to say about that one. Oh my gosh. All right, runner up. Honestly, I'm surprised how much I love this one. Destroy all humans. They can't be regenerated. It's really stinking good. It almost pains me to admit it. My friend bought me this, so it'll be in my December haul. He bought it as a Christmas present for me. He bought it because he really likes magic. I do not. Okay, I'm prefacing this, that this is a review from a non-magic girly, okay? I didn't understand a stinking lick of what they were saying about magic in here, okay? They tried to like do the thing where they put a little asterisk or a number and like try to explain it to you. Yeah, they didn't help at all. However, despite not understanding like 50% of this book, the heart of this story is the relationship between this boy and this girl, and that I am living for, okay? That made this volume for me. They are so stinking cute. You know I love me an enemies to lovers or like a rivals to lovers situation, but they're both really good academically. She's kind of the prim and proper president and he's kind of the nerdy guy, but since she moved schools and joined his class, or his grade, I guess, she's always become number one in the class and he's always got number two. So he kind of strikes up this own one-sided rivalry with her, and she kind of puts him down for being number two, obviously, and also for his childish fancies, like for instance playing magic. However, he finds her in a store playing magic like a baddie and winning, wiping the floor with these adults. And she's so good at it, and it angers him because he wants to take her down a peg. He wants to win. He always comes second best, but he quickly finds out, yeah, she's really good at magic and he needs to hone his skills to beat her. So they kind of strike up this not quite friendship. It's like a truce between them when they're at the magic shop and talking about magic and opening magic cards. Like they're much more friends and they're much more like comrades with this shared hobby, but she's very secretive about her hobby. I really like their banter. I really like their relationship. Since this was a new addition to my manga and I didn't have it or even like think about putting it into my challenge prompts, but I really wanted to count it. So I'm using it for the prompt of a 2024 release, since it did come out this year in 2024. I think it came out in November, so it's a relatively recent release. Speaking of relatively recent releases, we have the winner of this section, I guess, the one that I enjoyed the best, and that is After God. I really could not put this down. Like the beautiful art, the really interesting world building and setup that we're given, the compelling characters that I'm already intrigued with and want to see more of. Like it just ticks all the boxes. And yeah, so I'm happy that I mentioned it as possibly being my most anticipated read, and that's what I'm using it for. As soon as I saw that cover, I had been anticipating this one coming out and I pre-ordered it, and yeah, it just feels right. Like this is one of my most anticipated reads, and yeah, it did not disappoint. This is set in a Japan that has been invaded by gods or creatures with massive amounts of power and abilities and are often referred to as gods, and they've left nothing but death and destruction in their wake and made whole sections of Japan basically unlivable. However, there are rumors that circulate now, since these gods have like come to be, that the gods are so beautiful they will give you a painless death, essentially. Like they have made death seem beautiful, as our protagonist puts it. And this is what leads, tragically, to her best friend going to meet a god, and obviously meeting her demise at the hands of said god. So now, left with that knowledge and wanting revenge, our protagonist Waka decides to kill all the gods. And I think it's really epic. Obviously, she isn't just a normal high school student. She, for some reason, her eyes have a quality that is not unlike a god's. And it's not really dived into how or why her eyes are this way, and leads to her having similar powers to a god. But it is hinted at that she wasn't born this way, that her eyes changed at a certain point in time. So I'm really interested to see what that's all about. And she also gets taken in by the anti-god Scientific Research Institute because of her unusual abilities and basically like god eyes. It's what I'm going to refer to it as. And so where we leave off is her being kind of put to the test by this institute to see if she can be essentially a useful tool or not to them in defeating the gods. And yeah, I just the premise is so epic and interesting, and I am all here for it. And did I mention that the art is drop dead gorgeous? I love this art style. The way the gods are depicted, wow. I mean, I get the allure. I love the tragic friendship that was the like heartbreaking catalyst for Waka to go on this like revenge spree, and gives it like a lot of heart and a lot of feeling for her in her mission against these gods. And yeah, I just feel for her, and I find all the characters we were introduced to very interesting, and very like, this whole institute is very mysterious and interesting. So yeah, I cannot say enough good things about this. I am really anticipating more from this series. I hope it holds up as well as the first volume and delivers as solidly as this first volume all the way through, because it could easily be a favorite read of mine. I just love everything it's got going on. So yeah, those were the 4 prompts I've ticked off my challenge board now. Only 4 more to go, and like I said, that should be dropping again next Friday or Saturday. I always say either because I am never 100% sure. It always depends on what the week brings. But yeah, I hope you are enjoying these segments and the challenge if you're participating in it as much as I am. And yeah, I've just been so lucky to have so many great reads that I've picked out that I don't know, we'll see what the last batch brings, but I've just been loving everything. And of course, if you like this video, please hit that thumbs up button, and if you haven't already, subscribe, turn on the notifications so you won't miss whenever the next installment drops or any video that drops. And yeah, I hope you are looking forward to this Monday's video, where I will be talking about the worst, in my opinion, manga that I read this year. Like, my least favorites. We're going negative. And I hope you also enjoyed my last Monday's video, which is a tier list ranking every complete manga and manhwa series that I read this year. And yeah, I had a really fun time making that one. So based on people's comments, I definitely am considering that being a tradition that I keep doing on this channel. But yeah, let me know what you think, and go check that video out if you haven't already. And until Monday, bye!